Welcome back to another video on the channel. In this one I'm going to be previewing the Women's French Open, giving my full preview and prediction. I have also done this for the men's side of the draw, so if you want to check that out, it is already on the channel. During the next 2 weeks I will be covering the event on Grand Slam Tennis Online, which I'll leave a link to in the description below, and also on my Twitter account, which I will also leave a link to. So if you are interested, do give me a follow on Twitter and tune into Grand Slam Tennis Online, where I'll be posting articles, and from the second week I'll be doing live text commentaries. So let's look ahead to the women's side of the draw. We have the notable absentees of the defending champion Ashley Barty, Bianca Andreescu, who is still not fully fit, and Belinda Bencic. But we do have the return of Simona Halep, who has prioritised the clay court season and since returned from lockdown with wins in Prague and Rome. So comes into this tournament in fantastic form. But we have a great lineup, as we always do at these events. We look at the likes of Pliskova, Kenin, Serena and Venus Williams, Halep, Kvitova, Muguruza, Kerber, Azarenka. The list sort of endless. There's so many top names and former Grand Slam champions in this event, which makes for a fantastic one. The WTA, any event in any Grand Slam on this side, is always wide open. Halep and Ashley Barty, two of the most consistent players in the world in the past few years, which is why they're number 1 and 2. Barty's obviously defending champion, which makes making a prediction even harder. And you know, the defending champion's usually the straightforward pick to defend that title, but she's not in the draw. Also, there's no Naomi Osaka, who's just won the US Open and also a 3-time Grand Slam champion. So again, she would have been at the top of everybody's list, I think, to win the title next week. But without her in the draw, it makes it very, very tough. But we are guaranteed fantastic 50-50 matches. Whoever plays the best tennis will fully deserve to lift the title. And I believe this is why the WTA is so exciting. I talked about this before the US Open. But there's nobody really dominating events. In the recent years, like we know on the men's side of the draw, there's Nadal and Djokovic have really dominated Grand Slams the past 2 years at least. So it was nice to see Dominic Thiem come through and another new player lift a trophy. But on the women's side of the draw, you've got the likes of Sofia Kenin, Serena Williams, Osaka, Kvitova, Muguruza, Kerber, Ostapenko, Stevens have all been newly crowned Grand Slam champions. Apart from Serena Williams, and there she won a Grand Slam title a long time before all those players. But my point is, there's lots of new Grand Slam champions in the last 5 or 6 years on the women's side of the tour, which makes every tournament so exciting to watch. I think the slow surface in Paris will make for lots of physical wars. The best defensive players will prevail. So straight away you look at the likes of Halep and Angelique Kerber. I do miss Radwanska when I start talking about defensive players. She was, arguably one of the best defensive players on the women's side of the tour. And you do sort of miss players like that when these events come round. So first off, just going to look at Karolina Pliskova, who is a player that has never really produced the best tennis in Grand Slams yet, despite her high rankings and successful career. She has won 3 WTA titles on clay, reached the final last week in Rome, beaten Elise Mertens and Marketa Vondrousova on the way, playing very, very well. Unfortunately, she suffered a leg injury, I believe, in the semi-final, and really struggled in the final against Halep. I think she was lucky to even play a part in the match. She lost the opening set 6-love, and I believe it was 3-1 down in the second set before retiring, which was a massive shame. Would have given Pliskova huge momentum coming into this week after that performance against Halep, and now we don't even know if she's going to turn up. She's in the draw, so I'm assuming she is going to go forward with the French Open, but how fit she is a real question. She looked very good in Rome up until that point, but just a terrible time for her to get injury when she was playing into form. It's just not great signs. She has another recovery time. The injury only occurred last week, and she hasn't really produced the best of Grand Slams in the last few years, so I won't be predicting Pliskova to win the title in Paris in a couple of weeks' time. But she's a very, very talented player who has good form on clay and could certainly make a major run. But with the injury problem there, I'm just not sure this is going to be her year. Moving on to Sofia Kenin, who I'm a huge fan of. Broke through this year's Australian Open, beating Coco Gauff Ashley Barty, Garbina Muguruza in the final, showing immense mental strength and a fantastic all-round game. Very consistent, superb under pressure, and you're going to need all those factors to be successful at this year's French Open on a slow, difficult surface. She hasn't had a fantastic time of things post-lockdown on the hard courts. I think it was a first round exit at Cincinnati Open. Got dominated off Elise Mertens at the US Open. Perhaps she can refine some form on the clay. She hasn't had a great deal of clay court success when I was researching for this video, but a very young player and basically untested on clay, so it remains to be seen how well she does on the surface. And to Serena Williams, the player obviously chasing greatness, just one behind the famous Margaret Court. I think Serena's on 23 Grand Slams, chasing the 24th to level with Margaret Court. Similar to Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal, they've got the added incentive that there's no Roger Federer here. It's always a bonus, I'm sure, to these players when the top competitors aren't there. And for Serena this year, there's no Ashley Barty, there's no Naomi Osaka, which no doubt makes it an easier opportunity. There's still many fantastic players in the draw, and I will go on to talk about a couple of them and what I think of Serena's chances overall. But without Ashley Barty and without Naomi Osaka in the draw, her chances obviously do become more apparent. There's a lot of young challengers in the women's draw, but Williams has the advantage of experience. She's won 3 French Opens in the past, so she should be used to the conditions that will present themselves in the next couple of weeks. But I do feel around Serena Williams that she wants quick tennis matches and quick courts where she can win points very quickly. These courts, I do think there's going to be many marathon matches. Very physical battles, long points, which I don't think suits Serena. I think we saw at the US she played 3 set matches at the US Open, and she sort of paid for that against Azarenka. I think she looked tired and mistimed the ball in that deciding set against Azarenka, which she lost in the semi-final. And I just feel Serena now, her chances of winning Grand Slams have to come on hard courts where she can win quick points and use her serve to full effect, and I just don't think the conditions are going to fall well for Serena over the next couple of weeks. But with that power, mental strength, the experience that she's got, you really can't write her off. She's got the ability to come from behind. A lot of players against Serena are beat before they come on the court, but I do think that's starting to change. The fear factor isn't there as much as it was in the past few years. And she's just an incredible champion who continues to produce year upon year, and you really can't write her off at any event. Moving on to Simona Halep, who is probably my favourite player on the WTA. She's won 8 WTA titles on clay, which just shows you how well she's done on this surface over the past few years. She was the 2018 French Open champion. I was going to say defending champion, but that tag goes to Ashley Barty. Halep seems to have prioritised this event and really targeted for a long stage. She didn't go to the USA to compete in Cincinnati and the US, which was a surprise to many, being the high rank that she was. But I think she's gone all in for the French. She's come back and won 2 prep events on clay in Prague and in Rome, looking fantastic and gaining massive confidence and getting used to the conditions. And these conditions are absolutely perfect for Simona Halep's game style. Slow courts, emphasis on defence, counter punching, the fitness, the variety, and that's exactly where Halep excels. Defence, her movement, athleticism, I believe, is streets ahead of anybody else in the draw. I think her style of tennis is very effective on clay court, and she's a player that's perhaps unique in the game style that she's got when you compare that many of the young players have got big aggressive games. Halep's sort of the bang opposite of that. In the big aggressive game is not ideal on clay when you need to hit extra shots because of the slow ball carry, and that results in unforced error after unforced error. And Simona Halep is somebody who will certainly take advantage of that. Moving on to Garbina Muguruza, the 2016 French Open champion. Between 2015 and 17, I think she was probably the best women's player in the world. She reached the number 1 ranking, won 2 Grand Slam titles, winning the French Open and Wimbledon. After that, in 2018 and 19, she really struggled for form. I don't know whether she struggled to do with the pressure of being the face of women's tennis almost at that time and being world number 1. But she dropped out the world in the top 10. Thankfully, she's sort of bounced back to form in 2020. She reached the final of the Australian Open, sorry, at the start of the year, playing very, very well. Even since lockdown, she reached a semi-final in her prep event for this in Rome on clay, and she came through a very, very tough draw there. I think sort of underestimated her performance in Rome. I looked at her results today. In Rome she beat Sloane Stephens, Coco Gauff, Joe Conta, Victoria Azarenka, and then lost a very, very close semi-final to Simona Halep. I'm sure that run will have given her huge confidence, and she's always a danger. She brings that experience and Grand Slam winning experience. She's won the French Open before, which is not what a lot of players can say in this draw. So she's always a huge danger, particularly on clay. So moving on to my verdict in who I think will win the Grand Slam. I believe it's a shootout between Halep and Muguruza. I think on a hard court, women's Grand Slams are wide open. There's so many players, there's huge aggressive games who play the best tennis on quick hard courts, and they all have the ability to out-hit each other, hit clean winners in the back of the court. And I believe on a hard court, it's sort of who's in the going day, who's striking the ball better from the back of the court. On the clay courts, it's a lot more difficult to play on. You need the ability to adapt your game, be consistent, be patient, have good defence. I just think Halep and Muguruza sort of tick every box. They also bring the experience and the fact that they've won the French Open in the past. A young player may prove me wrong, like Ostapenko did a few years ago. You can obviously never write off Serena, but I don't think this tournament will suit her. As I said before, the long matches, the long points, I don't think will suit Serena's game. And the fact that she's 39-year-old now, I think she wants a quick 40-50 set matches, 40-minute matches in the opening rounds. I just don't see getting them at the French Open, but you can never write her off. But to make a full pick, I'm going to pick Simona Halep. I just think she targeted this event by skipping the US events. She won in Prague and Rome. She's had perfect preparation for this. And I just think she excels in these sorts of conditions, which is not a lot, which is a thing that a lot of players can't say. So I think it'll be between Halep and Muguruza, but I'm going to edge towards Simona Halep. But it's going to be a fantastic event. As I say, I will be covering the event on Grand Slam Tennis Online, and also my Twitter account, so do follow that. And I will also be posting regular videos on my YouTube for the men's and women's side. So if you aren't subscribed, do subscribe. Please like the video, and if you have any thoughts on the women's event, do leave them in the comments below. I'm always interested to see what people are thinking ahead of the tournament. But thanks for watching the video. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.